Hey! At least that audio didn't cut off that time. At least it faded out. Hi, welcome to the stream here November. Let me know if the audio is working. I have to basically jimmy something with a boom mic today because my stuff is in the van and my van's in my house, not here in the studio. So I'm making do with a boom pole, and I realize it's probably very, very braggy for me. I have to improvise with a boom pole. Oh my goodness. So, audio's working. Good. Okay. Hopefully doesn't peak. I think the levels are pretty good. Again, here by myself, so I don't really have any control of the audio, so I have to go back there and jiggy about with it. Also, there might be an Amazon delivery sometime during this stream. I didn't plan it that way, but that's the way it is. So they're delivering my new... I got really frustrated because one of my 3D printers kept breaking on me. So I said, dang it, Black Friday deals, just going to go ahead and order another one. And so that's the deal. I've been doing a lot of 3D printing. I haven't been doing a whole lot on Filmmaker IQ, honestly. We can kind of talk about it. I've just been really tired and a little bit disillusioned, but just mostly just tired and just kind of beaten down for the last, month and a half or so. This is one of my latest. This isn't actually the resin printing that I like, but this is kind of, if you're a part of the 3D printing crowd, these are like the most cliche things. These are equivalent to the movie that begins with an alarm clock and the hand reaches out and smacks the alarm clock. Like every single body makes it. But I really dig this. This is the articulated Chinese dragon. I printed one that was a lot bigger for my mom and I painted it, and I haven't painted this one yet, but it's really cool. There's close up of it. If it actually focuses, it won't focus because it's on face detect and it won't detect this thing. What's up? What's up, guys? What's up, Arsini Mun? How you doing? I can actually put that on the screen. Boom. There you go. Did that work? Make sure that works. Yes, it works. What's up? Yeah. It's going. Happy Thanksgiving to those guys in North America celebrating Thanksgiving, which is pretty much the official beginning of the holiday season for us here in the United States. So, I mean, it's definitely going. So, the last time I talked about Squid Game and how I didn't like it, and people got really upset at me for saying that. Somebody was even questioning my ability to make films. Says, how can you're not a real filmmaker if you, whatever. Before we talk about it, just answering a question here. What printers do I use? I have an Ender 5 Plus that prints the filament, which is what this is, filament. And then I do, this is actually a filament one too as well. Then I also have Anycubic Mono and a Mono X that's coming to replace the Mono X that I currently have. And then you can see behind me that there are a few little figurines. This thing I know belongs in a museum, but this is filament. So, but I got a bunch of stuff back here. You guys can have fun picking out the stuff I'm putting. I'm gonna keep adding stuff to the back, movie props and characters and all that stuff, because I do love that stuff. Arsene Moon says Squid Game TV show about a prop guy doing dad jokes. That would probably be entertaining to watch. So the title of the thing was I got the 30 FPS gang is here. Yay! I think this video is probably being broadcast in 30 FPS, although I think my camera is shooting in 24, so I'm in this weird, bizarre mode. Although I'm fine with 30 FPS, just not for movies. Anyhow, the two shows, which probably someone earlier guessed what those two shows were. First show that I wanted to see was Foundation. I was a fan of the first book of Foundation. I really thought it was fascinating, interesting book by Isaac Asimov. And if you don't know the premise, I'm not going to spoil it. I mean, it's not a spoiler thing, but the idea is in the far distant future, we're talking like tens of thousands of years from now, there's a galactic empire. And the galactic empire there's this one guy who's this Harry Seldon, who's basically a mathematician, and he figures out the science called psychohistory, in which he's able to calculate based on the averaging of all the different populations what's going to happen to society in the big whole. And he comes up with this idea that, hey, the Galactic Empire is going to fall, and there's going to be dark ages for thousands of years, 10,000 years. And we can reduce that dark ages if you allow me to build my foundation, which is an encyclopedia. And the Galactic Empire says, well, we don't like the fact that you're going around telling people that the Empire is going to fall. So we're going to go ahead and let you just, rather than kill you and make you a martyr, we're just going to put you guys on a faraway planet. So he goes to a faraway planet and he makes this encyclopedia, but we didn't tell the Empire, is like, he knows the Empire is doomed. But he's kind of figuring out a way to calculate ways to kind of recover the Galactic Empire to reduce the Dark Ages from 10,000 years to only like 1,000 years or something like that. And the way the book goes is the book's broken down into little anthologies. Like there's the Harry Seldon thing, and then there's different moments in history called Harry Seldon crises. And there's the one crisis that involves the mayor, the warden of Terminus, which is the planet they're on. And there's another one with the traders, and there's so forth. I enjoyed the first part of the book because I could kind of get into it. I loved the concept and all. I kind of got lost toward the later of the show. I never finished the books. And the problem with Asimov's writing is Asimov is not a writer of like description. He doesn't describe any of the characters. And what's hard for me to reading science fiction is I can't understand. I can't pronounce certain names. I have a hard enough time pronouncing regular words. Francois Truffaut. I got in so much trouble when I say Francois Truffaut. It's Francois, you dumb butt. I'm censoring myself there. Sorry. Francois Truffaut, not Francois. You ignorant hick. So I'm reading these names. Like Harry Seldon's easy, but some of these other names, I can't remember the names off the top of my head. But Asimov does not write description. He does not describe anything to you. He just says, here's a weird name. He's on this planet, and they're going at it. He doesn't describe Jack, which makes it hard for your imagination to kind of go into, kind of explore this world. But I like the ideas because Asimov writes a lot of cool ideas. That's his whole, I think his whole autobiography is basically, his whole au revoir of books is basically idea driven. Like iRobot is nothing like the movie. I don't think I've even seen the movie, honestly, but the movie, nothing like it. iRobot is basically a series of novels where these laws of robotics are put to the test. Had nothing to do with the movie. The movie is like complete departure. So I was interested in seeing how can you make Foundation, because Foundation is the book series is like part 1 is this, and then jump ahead 70 years. Then we hear this. All new cast of characters, except Harry Seldon appears up because he's got like a hologram of himself. Then jump ahead another 100 years. And then so it's like very disconnected. How can I make that TV show? Well, they kind of did. Now, if you wanted to compare the books to the actual TV show, slightly at the very beginning, they kind of close, but not really. It's not really. So if you said, I watched the show, would I enjoy the books? They're totally different. Don't even expect them to be similar. Not even worth comparing. The major concepts are cool. However, and I will say this is not necessarily a spoiler, because this is more of a setting for the book, the TV show. Same idea, Galactic Empire, Harry Seldon predicts the death of the Empire. Harry Seldon's going to be sent to Terminus to build his encyclopedia. Well, the cool thing about the show is they add a really ingenious plot device, like a sci-fi device that is so clever and so interesting that I wish it was in the books. So the Galactic Empire in the TV show is headed by, it's called the Genetic Dynasty. And it's basically this emperor who gathered all the forces for the first empire. And then he clones himself. And so it's now thousands of years later, and the person sitting on the Galactic Empire is Cleon the 13th clone of this guy. And then what they do is at any one time there's always 3 clones. There's the Day, who's actually running the administrations. He's the actual head of the state. And then there's a character called Dusk, who's the older version, the older clone. He's kind of retirement, emeritus. He's kind of there to to like advise Day on what to do. And then there's Dawn, who's like a kid, the young kid who's growing up. And at one point, Dawn will become Day, Day will become Dusk, and then Dusk will have to like go off into the iceberg by himself. So it's a fascinating, and I love the way they play up that part of the story, because it really fleshes out this world, because that genetic dynasty is something that a lot of people in the Empire are kind of disgusted by, because it's like that emperor has all the power and he doesn't even give away the power, he just clones himself. So it's a fascinating addition to the story. I really, really like it. Now, as far as the whole TV show, I enjoyed it. Again, some of the reviews I read were a little bit harsh on it. I kind of agree with them, because the show stops kind of being about ideas, although it does have some great ideas in them, like the Cleon, the Genetic Dynasty. I think is such a brilliant addition. It's such a cool idea. I wanted to explore that world even more. I just want to explore the world of the Foundation even more. But it does kind of resort a little bit to too much of an action stuff. And it's like, the action stuff is not terribly interesting. It's done okay, but I just wanted to kind of explore more of the world that they're inhabited, because it's such a cool world building show. So hopefully there's another season, because they set up for another season. So hopefully, I'll watch another one, absolutely. Lumir says, greetings for the first night shoot of WOT season 2. I don't know what WOT is, but congratulations. Hopefully you're having a good time on that. Okay, so I know you guys are talking about frame rate. I'll jump into that later, but we'll talk about it later. But the second show I wanted to watch, and the reason why I got Apple TV Plus, was to watch Ted Lasso. So I heard lots of great things about Ted Lasso, and boy, they weren't wrong. I loved Ted Lasso. I think it's a great show. A Wheel of Time. Cool, Wheel of Time. Awesome. Boa says, do I watch The Expanse? Yes, and we're going to be waiting on the final season coming up on December 10th, I believe. So that'll be cool to watch. Yeah, I think Foundation is a good companion to The Expanse, because The Foundation feels a little more further removed from reality. It's a little further down. It's closer to like a Dune, and I love Dune. I watched Dune the other a couple weeks ago. My friend was having his birthday. He's like, I want to see Dune again, but I want to see an IMAX. I said, I'll go see it with you. I hadn't seen it yet, so we'll talk about Dune some more. I really enjoyed it. I can see why people would not like it, but I really enjoyed it. We'll talk about that in a second. But Ted Lasso, I equate it to what's her? I lost the name. It's not Angie Dickinson. It's the Agatha Christie. I equate it to an Agatha Christie novel they made us read when I was in middle school, called 10 Little Indians. Which, don't look at if you want to feel good about Agatha Christie, don't look up the original title of that book. It didn't age well, and I don't mind them not using the original title. Okay, never mind. Anyhow, 10 Little Indians is a book in which basically all these guys are put on an island. Agatha Christie writes, like noir, not noir, but mysteries. And so all these people are put on an island, and one by one, each person gets murdered. So at the end of the first chapter, another person's dead, and they try to figure out who the murderer is. In each chapter, one person dies, right? That's the way Ted Lasso is, except they don't die. To me, Ted Lasso basically converts every single character there to his side. And every episode is basically, that character, he was against Ted Lasso, and next episode, he's now on Ted Lasso's team. And one by one, the dominoes fall. And it's a super positive show. And if you guys saw my last rant about Squid Game, this is the antidote to Squid Game, Ted Lasso, because it showed a positivity. So if you don't know what the story of Ted Lasso, I'll just kind of go through it real quickly. Again, some minor spoilers, but it's wouldn't hurt your enjoyment of the show. Basically, this one lady, she gets the soccer team. She divorces her ex-husband, who's an absolute jerk, and he's a billionaire. He owns a soccer team. She gets the soccer team in the in the divorce settlement, and she says she's going to destroy the soccer team because it was his favorite thing in the world. So if she destroys it, then she'll get her comeuppance on her ex-husband. So she hires what she thinks is probably the worst coach you could possibly hire for a United Kingdom soccer club. This one guy from Oklahoma who went viral on a video for doing a silly dance in the locker room. So she hires him out of the blue. He comes to the England, starts coaching. Everyone hates him, calls him wanker. Everybody hates him. And it's like I said, surely episode by episode he turns every person who's against him to his side. And that's the end of season 1. Now season 2 started, and I watched up to the point where they brought up one character back, but then for some reason my Apple Plus app on my Fire Stick, Amazon Fire Stick, so I'm using all these different devices, and I'm converting it to standard definition because I'm watching on the TV that's in my mom's room, who she doesn't want me to buy anything new, so we're using this old CRT television. So for some reason I'm not getting any sound. It worked. I watched the whole season with sound, and then all of a sudden, no sound. So, I don't know. Anyhow, so I highly recommend Foundation if you're into some sci-fi, want to kind of like go into sci-fi world building, and Ted Lasso for sure. Ted Lasso is definitely good. Boa Mike says 10 Little Indians was also known as Then There Were None. That's another good. That's probably a better title than the other one. Okay, I'll just say it was called The 10 Little N-Words. Yeah, horrible. I mean, I get it. Back in the day, they didn't really, they weren't aware as they are, but yeah, it was bad. So don't look it up by that name. Dune, let's talk a little about Dune. Dune looked boring, gray, and yellow. It was like 2.5-hour fragrance commercial. Well, not quite, but the spice must flow. So I think Dune really works better if you walk into it understanding the story a little bit more. Like I've never read Dune. I have the audiobooks, but God, they're kind of hard to get through. Although the audiobook production is very good, they have all the characters it's like a radio play almost. But it's a hard slog for me to get into Dune. But I understood the story because I rewatched the David Lynch maybe about a year ago in preparation to watch Dune. Spicy takes must flow. There you go. That's good, Arseny. I watched the David Lynch version a while ago just to kind of get prepared for Dune again. And this time I understood the story a little bit better about Paul Atreides, and his Atreides family gets sent to Arrakis to take over for the Harkonians, and yeah, I mean it's kind of Game of Thrones-y kind of take on a sci-fi futuristic take. I mean it's an epic saga. It really is, and I think for what Denis Villeneuve did on this version, if you gotta watch it in a theater. It really is one of those movies that I could see if you're watching it at home. It just doesn't have that awesomeness to it. Like you need to hear the big sub speakers. You need to hear the sound equipment. I think it works. I get that people would be bored by it. I get that because if you don't understand the story, you may not understand what the hell's going on half the time. I get that. I totally get that. So, I'm glad that he was able to greenlight a second version because that was ballsy for them to make the first one without having the second one greenlit. So, there you go. Let's see here. Let's go some of your comments. I like the 1984 Dune, as well as the sci-fi version. Neither were perfect, but but I never saw the sci-fi version. My friend Joe swears that is way better than than the David Lynch version. It's not COVID. Just knock it off. It's way better than the David Lynch. The David Lynch version has some good things and has some just atrocious things. But the David Lynch cameo in '84, where I think what is he the pilot of one of the landers? Yeah, Dune has a lot of backstory that should be set up before this part of the story. I think that's true. I think that you're absolutely right that there is a huge amount of backstory, but I wonder if that backstory is more useful for people that are interested in the story. You know, like sometimes you just need to jump into it. Like Star Wars, right? Star Wars Episode 4, The New Hope. There's a lot of backstory, you know, and we got it in the form of the prequels, right? Sometimes it's good to enter this world like halfway through it or in the middle of it. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know if I would approach it that way, but I definitely agree. There's a lot of backstory that would be helpful for people to understand. Well, you know, at least it would fill in the gaps, like why aren't there any computers in this futuristic world? That's a good backstory that people can speak about. Anyhow, Una says, "What do you feel about fan edits? I saw one for Dune called Spice Diver Cut, and it appreciated the sequence reordering." I mean, sure. Like, I'm not against any kind of fan edits at all. I think there's this one, not to bring it personal, but there's this one thing called YouTube Poop, which took my video on popcorn and re-edited it, and it made it silly as hell. I appreciate that. I think it was funny, actually. The other guy that they made it to made fun of did not think it was very funny, and he tried to sue people. Stupid. But I think fan edits are fine. As long as the thing is, you remember, like, you can't make money with a fan edit. That's not fair. But fan edits, I think, for absolutely cool. I personally don't adhere to any kind of. I think, though, as far as like legitimacy, I think the person making the film has the most legitimacy in the way they presented the film in a certain way that they want to present. I think oftentimes the internet will tend to play a little too smarter than thou kind of attitude. Like, they think they know everything, and like, you don't really understand the reason why certain things are a certain way, maybe because for reasons you have no idea. So that's what I think. All right, so funny thing about Dune, so much discussion about the Bene Gesserit. So I can't pronounce anything. Bene Gesserit was so little clarifying that the Montauk living calculators, they are opposing tides. Exactly. That's exactly, you're totally right. Gary Grady says maybe it's a tuma. It's not a tuma. It's not a tuma. Yep, no computers in the future because of the semi-crisis in 2021. Yeah, it's a supply chain issue. That's really why it was. Dune is really basically a supply chain issue movie. It's entirely about the spice and why it's not flowing. Because the spice must flow, people. Spice must flow. Donnie Pearson says hi. Thank you for the well wishes for Thanksgiving. Yeah, we're going to have a good time. I got a turkey that's chilling on the counter there. I'm going to keep it simple. Just turkey and a couple other things. Apple TV, my latest title was Rocky 4, Rocky vs. Drago, the Ultimate Director's Cut. Is that, oh, you're the one making the fan cuts, or? That's cool. If you're doing the Rocky vs. Drago, the Ultimate Director's Cut. Patrick says, Denis Villeneuve say that in a French podcast that he shot Dune on digital and did the reverse DI to put it on film and then back to digital just for the film. Interesting. That is a long way around to doing it, isn't it? Back in the day, when we used to shoot, so I hate it when people like bag on me for, you never shot a movie. Like, I never shot a feature film. I've shot several short films though, a lot. And back in the day when we used to shoot on videotape, there was I actually found a technique of shooting on videotape, and this is standard definition videotape, digital videotape. But we shoot on DV tape, and then I found out you could run it through a film scan, like project it to film, and then back again, and that would give you the film look. Like, that's how a way to create film look back in the day when we were using small chip cameras. So we're talking about 1/3 inch chip. If you were lucky, you got a 1/2 inch chip, maybe a 2/3 inch chip. If you were like burning the Benjamins, you got a 2/3 inch chip. 2/3 inch chip, folks. You guys in your Black Magic pocket cam with your 4/3 micro 4/3, a quarter, 2/3 inch chips, a quarter of that size. That's kind of cameras we were working back in those days. Boa says Dell convinced Spotify to disable shuffle play on albums. She doesn't like fan edits either. That's a good point. I watched the Lynch's Dune the other day. Even though the new one is better, it's not better. Well, I disagree. I think the new one's better. Oh, Bobby says, thanks for my videos. I haven't put out many videos. I need to So, not to get you guys down, but I've been having a lot of issues with my mom, taking care of her health. And I'll just share for you with one issue that pissed me off so bad. It basically ruined my week. It got me to like a nervous breakdown. It was so bad. So my mom has neurological issues, and she can't really walk anymore. She's having issues walking, although her health in almost every other respect is almost perfect. She just can't like walk, right? And so the neurologist ordered a spinal tap. Yeah, this is spinal tap. We turn up to 11, folks. Now, a spinal tap is basically what they do is they go into the back, they inject a radioactive dye into your spine, and then they wait a couple hours and they watch the fluid as it like transverses your spinal cord and goes into your brain and all that stuff. So it's a fun time, right? It's a party. Everybody enjoys it. So I had to but the thing is, the hospital treated it like it was a major medical procedure. Even though it's a 20-minute procedure, it doesn't involve general anesthetic at all. It's literally lie on your back, needle in the back, squeeze. Okay, make sure you're not bleeding. Okay, wait 20 minutes, wait 2 hours, do a scan, and come back in 48 hours, or 24 and 48 hours. Anyhow, but they make you do the whole pre-op business, and they make you make sure you wash with like antibacterial soap all over, even though it's a one needle punch. Do the whole thing. You had to do a COVID test, which my mom, like, you can explain. She has dementia. So she has dementia and this walking issue. So she's not perfectly felt. Her health is not perfectly fine. I take that back. So she hates COVID tests. No matter how much I explain a COVID test where they jam a Q-tip up your nose, she's not ready for it. It's not. It's like, God, it's terrible. Go through the whole rigmarole, get there on Monday morning at 7 a.m. and getting my mom anywhere on 7 a.m. because she can't walk it is death. To get up, I have to get up at like 4:30 in order to get my mom ready to get going, and then get in the car. It takes about 20 minutes to get to the hospital. So if I get to be at 7, I have to wake up at 4:30 in the morning. It's nuts. So I get her to the hospital, and I sign her in. She's in pre-op, waiting to go. And then I get a call on my phone. Hey, can you come in like at 10 o'clock? Because the radioactive dye is not yet in the hospital. I'm like, what? Okay, well, I'm here, so I'm just going to leave her here. I go out and have breakfast by myself, come back at 10 o'clock, or 9:30, 10 o'clock, and radioactive dye is still not there. And I'm waiting there and waiting there. Like 11 o'clock, I'm getting like pissed off. Because I don't know if you ever sit... For two things, sitting in the hospital pre-op with a mask on and everything sucks. There's only so much looking at your phone you can do. Like I hate having to sit somewhere and not be productive. I can sit and draw, I can sit and type, I can sit and edit stuff, but I cannot sit and do nothing. Like, it literally drives me crazy. And I was at 11 o'clock, I was yelling at people. I was like yelling at the nurses, like, why they're saying that FedEx did not deliver the radioactive dye. The reason why we haven't gotten this thing on the road, and they told me I'd be done by 12. The reason why we didn't get this thing on the road is because the FedEx guy was late. Oh my God. I had it, and it wasn't until like 1 o'clock. So we've been sitting there for my mom had been sitting there in the hospital for 6.5 hours waiting for the FedEx guy to deliver the radioactive dye, because apparently only the FedEx guy can deliver they don't have a courier or anything to actually deliver it. No. And they wouldn't, and the hospital's like, well, it's not our fault. They eventually gave me 2 movie tickets, which actually worked. I'm sorry, it's sad to say, because I understood that it was not the hospital's fault. I understood all that. It didn't make it better. It didn't make it better that I had to sit here in this hospital. My mom's sitting here in this pre-op for 6.5 hours, waiting on the FedEx guy. Anyhow, they gave me the movie. At least the movie tickets were sort of a gesture, like, "Hey, I get it. This is really effed up, and here, this is we can give you something." I get that. I can get that. But oh my god. So that ruined my entire week. It got me so. I'll share this. Nicole won't be upset with me. I had a quick shoot. I had to do like a little ribbon cutting shoot in a city nearby, and I ran out of the hospital to do this thing. And I was going to get back in time to pick her up because it was like 5 o'clock. I was so rattled by everything that I actually forgot the camera. So I got to the ribbon cutting, and I didn't have my camera. And I was like, ah, shoot. So I just go up to them and explain to them like I had the worst day from hell, like literally the worst day. And they luckily somebody else was there with a camera. Somebody from the city was there for the camera. And then he was shooting anyways. I'm like, oh well, let him shoot it. And I excused myself. I felt so bad for that. Yeah, and yeah. Imagine if you live in Canada, the ER is 8. Well, it wasn't even the ER. You know, that's the thing. It was a procedure that was on the books. Like they actually. I mean, I went through phone calls with the nurses for pre-op, and we went in for pre-op, and we did the COVID test. Like everything was planned out, and we were waiting. You know, we had this plan, and they said you'll be done by 12 o'clock. If you're here at 7 o'clock, you'll be done by 12. No question. We weren't done till 5. You know, and I guess it's just. I know it could be worse. Obviously, it could be worse. It just felt so bad. Breaking the blood-brain barrier is a serious business. So I guess maybe that explains why so much of the pre-op stuff and all that. But it wasn't. I mean, it's just I get it. I get the procedures. Yeah. I get it. But FedEx, or I mean, first they said it was UPS guy, then it said it was a FedEx guy. I don't even think it's I can't even know I don't even believe it's FedEx. I believe it's probably just like it's probably a courier service that didn't take their freaking time. Yeah. Well, yeah, that can be procedure is 6 to 36 months waiting time. Then, I mean, luckily, although I complain because my neurologist is like a 3-month or 2-month waiting period, and it's like why are we? My mom's neurologist. So my mom's neurologist is working on this theory. It's called hydrocephalitis. I think it's the name of it. Basically, there's water pressure on the brain, and that can cause literally every symptom that she has. But the problem with when you read WebMD, it's like you literally, oh, I must have testicular cancer, because everything you cross off. So hydrocephalitis seems like a good explanation for it outside of dementia and all that stuff. But we'll see. We'll see. Anyhow. So that was my so that like literally destroyed me for a good week, probably last week, and just like seriously, I was experiencing mental breakdowns like the rest of the week. It was so bad, and honestly, so now we're deep enough into this live chat. I also kind of got really tired of reading comments, especially after my Squid Game video, because I spent an hour so basically explaining what I felt about the show, and the comments were just so nasty. Some of the comments were great. Don't get me wrong. Couple of them were just really just assholes about it, and I started to kind of just get a sense that a lot of comments in the world are basically people being stupid, and I gotta pull back a little bit here because I think. If you were to follow me around every day and record every single thing I said and uttered in my regular real world voice, you'd probably see 80% of it was just mindless stupidity. Like a lot of stuff I say may be just stupid and unwitty, uninteresting, just dumb. But the problem is that we don't record any of that. And if I write a video or something, the first draft might be going different directions, and it may not be worked, then I go back and I edit myself, right? But comments generally are just really just they're like diarrhea sometimes. It's just horrible. So I ended up cutting way back on reading comments. I used to be religious. I used to love reading comments, but I was like, I can't take it, anymore. Rick says, so John, you are human. That's not what my my robots overlord say. No. Mr. Pink says, what are the two shows? What were they? Foundation and Ted Lasso. Check those two shows out. Oh, how do I feel about... Boa says, how do you feel about YouTube hiding dislikes count? I will take a kind of a counterintuitive response to that. I understand why YouTube would want to get rid of dislikes. I feel like, though, unfortunately, it might have been a genie has already been out of the bottle, and it's too late now. Because we talked about this at Filmmaker IQ back when I used to do more social with Filmmaker IQ. Filmmaker IQ, I've kind of, like, again, disillusioned with the way the websites work and all that, so I just kind of pared it down to just basically supporting the YouTube channel somewhat more so. But the problem with downvotes is they do tend to bring some toxicity with them. That's the reason why Facebook has never ever added a dislike button. They've added other buttons, like the care button, the little laugh button, and all those, but they don't have a dislike button because the dislike tends to create a negative pressure. Now, again, I might catch flack for saying this, right? But the just the brigading that happens with downvoting things, it does kind of mess up the system a little bit. Now, I get it. Like the Ghostbusters trailer got a lot of downvotes, and they really should have gotten a lot of downvotes. It is a judge of a video's quality, of its whatever, if it's content, if it's real. I've seen so many. Like if I have an Adobe issue where it's like something's not rendering right, I go and I Google it and I find a video. Oh, this is exactly my problem, and the video has nothing to do with it, and it's got like 12 downvotes and 1 upvote. That kind of that's information that I get. Although by that time it's too late, right? So I will give them that. I will give YouTube that argument that and I think if YouTube is trying to be more of a social media, the way they're pushing the YouTube Shorts and becoming more like an Instagram, kind of a ripping off of Instagram a little bit, they're trying to be more social. I can see why they would want to get rid of it. It makes sense. However, I do feel like the cat's a little bit out of the bag because you've had it forever. So you're getting rid of a feature that people use and legitimately use, not just for brigading, not just for downvote brigading, which happens a lot. Like I wonder if another president was in power, if they got a lot of downvotes on his video, maybe they wouldn't have also. Never mind. But I mean, I understand the argument. So that's what do I think it's great? I don't know. I don't. I feel like probably should just kept it the way it was and just keep the downvote counter public and visible. So. Yeager says, I liked your take that we are the audience and we are the VIPs in Squid Game. I think that's probably the better way of reading it, actually, that film. I've kind of gotten a little bit, the sting of that show is kind of let me let go of that from them. Mr. Pink is going to unsubscribe from Netflix and take Apple Plus instead. You can just take Apple Plus for a month, watch those 2 shows, and then turn it off again. I might do that because nothing really else on Apple Plus catches my eye. I really wanted to see those 2 shows though. Although I want to finish Ted Lasso first. Torrents still work, yeah. I mean, I'm a very strong copyright advocate. In fact, this morning Reason TV put out a video about copyright, which I found, or a debate about copyright, which I found just incredibly annoying because the guy debating was just completely clueless. But I'm very strong copyright, although I also realize that torrents exists, and I don't seek to punish anybody that wants to use them, because that's the reality of this world. And once you get some money, maybe once you get rich and famous, maybe you can go ahead and buy those channels and spend the money on it. Spend the money on what you enjoy. Until that point, I'll look the other way. How about that? Yeah, there's a good point. We get some clues from views to votes ratio. I think I agree with you. I just feel like that's maybe a little bit overblown. I don't think you get that much information from the vote ratio. I mean, you do, but usually it's after the fact. Usually it's after. Again, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying. I don't know if it's that important. It feels like interesting how it affects tutorial content. I feel it's kind of like the way we're going to go blind to tutorials. As someone who's been doing this for a very long time, like because Filmmaker actually used to be a content curator, so I used to watch a lot of tutorials and like to judge a lot of tutorials. There's a lot I can tell you just by watching a tutorial whether it's good or not. I can tell by the way the presenter like presents just whether it's good or not. And oh boy. Alice in Borderlands. I had not heard of that. Alice in Borderland is better than Squid Game. Okay, let's check that out. Hey Pedro, how you doing? Nice to see you. Honestly, I love Netflix, soon to be the official home of Power Rangers Cinematic Universe and Apple TV's equally. And Apple TV's equally. My friend told me about Cowboy Bebop. I've never seen Cowboy Bebop. And the other day I was listening, I was like, I hear so much about the theme songs. I was listening to the theme song some more, and I was like, yeah, this is actually pretty damn cool theme song. So he watched Cowboy Bebop. He was not happy with it. But he said the original anime is on Netflix, so guess what I'm going to watch? Because I need to watch some Cowboy Bebop. I have not seen it. Unity says, nice to be hanging out with you again. These live streams are perfect timing for late West Coast midday in Australia. Ah, cool. Australia. That's not a stream. This is a stream. Sorry. Maybe if YouTube had a disagree, dislike, or I am a troll buttons. I think I am a troll button would be very useful. Although it shouldn't be self-applied. This is a troll. Oh, is Scorsese going to Apple now? I'm just kind of not. I like Scorsese. I'm just tired of all this crap that he's talking about Marvel movies. It's like ginning up stuff over. It's like it's nothing to do with Marvel movies. But it's going to come back. Just watch the news cycle. Guess what? Speaking of Marvel movies, I have not watched a single one since Infinity Wars. I did watch WandaVision, which I enjoyed. But after that, I was like, I'm fine. I'm good. Because Infinity War was really good. I really liked Infinity War. Wrapped everything up nicely. Gave us a good bow on everything. And now that part of my life, hey, move on. I'm ready to something else. It's like the end of Truman Show. And spoilers, Truman gets his freedom. And the very, very last shot, the guy's like, that was good. Hey, we'll see what else is on. And he changes his channel. That's the way I felt with Marvel movies. It's like, Infinity was awesome. Now what else is on? Thank you, Rick, for the super chat. Happy Thanksgiving. Let's see what you say. I punish bad content with a short view time. I rarely downvote. It has to be particularly offensive to get a downvote from me. There you go. That's a good practice. Yeah, I just don't. I just check out of bad content. I'm like, enough of that. I watch the Screen Rant pitch meetings before I watch something popular. That Squid Game ones is pretty accurate though. Gotta give it that. Oh, here we go. Starting shit here. Sorry. Andrew Watts says Academy ratio is the best aspect ratio. Well, you might think Academy ratio is awesome, but what about the golden ratio? Don't get me started on the golden ratio. I think it's a bunch of bullshit. Anyhow. Honestly, I don't particularly care for Academy anymore. I used to be forced to use it, but I use 16:9's okay. I think 1.85 might be the nicest one right now. Although 2.39, I want some 2.39. Yeah, all right. I have to watch Coda on Apple TV Plus. Okay, I'll check that one out if I can get my audio to work on that thing. I liked Eternals a lot, and Venom was just a waste of time. It's 20 minutes shorter than the first, and they doubled the amount of things that happening. Venom is Venom, isn't that DC? Or no, I guess not. Venom is Marvel. Never mind. Take that back. 640 by 480 aspect ratio. That's not an aspect ratio. That's a resolution. Oh, no, just kidding. It is yeah. See, remember back in the day, because it was never 640 to 480. 640 to 480 was the computer animation resolution. But if you're in digital video, it's always 720 by 480 with a pixel aspect ratio of 0.9. That 0.9 would get you to 720 pretty close, at least pretty close. And if you're in Europe, oh my God, it's all over. It's something different. I forget what the PAL thing is. All right, not to get off on a sidetrack, but I was really pissed off at that expert they had for the Rittenhouse trial, who testified about frame rates. I was gonna go there, but judge is just throwing the whole thing out. It's like, sir, 23.976, and it's not a European standard. It's an American standard. That's all I'm going to say on that. I swear. I'm not going to go into it. That guy got paid a lot more money than I get paid for probably the entire year just for that expert witness, because he doesn't know, and he didn't even know what 2.3976. Okay, calm down. Calm down. I know there's a lot more work for this channel to do. All right, never mind. Oh, there we go. Let's talk about this. Any thoughts on The Last Duel, despite how badly it bombed at the box office? I saw it as a trailer, and I didn't really think much of it. Other than that, you know, I need to get back in the habit of going to the movie theater. I do have that AMC pass. I can go see a movie every 3 movies a weekend. So I did want to see Last Duel. I did want to see Last Night in Soho. That looked like it's visually interesting and stunning. And I like the girl. That girl's just, I do adore her. You know what I'm talking about. Anya Taylor-Joy. And I wanted to see what else was there. Last Duel. Oh, Gucci, House of Gucci. Because it just looked trashy. It looked like trashy fun. It just yeah. Yes, Unity OC says, I noticed a lot of shows using 2:1. I wonder how that came about. It used to be people laughed at cinematographer Last Emperor forcing the Blu-ray to be 2:1. It is from, what's his face? He called it, it was The Last Emperor, right? The director. It was also the director that did, the cinematographer that did Apocalypse Now. Forget the name of the vision. It came out in the 90s, 2:1 ratio. Of course, nowadays, Vitavision or something like that, chat will found it. We'll say it. VitaVision or something like that. Anyhow, nowadays with digital, it's so easy to do any aspect ratio. Any aspect ratio is easy. It's just a matter of cutting the frame a certain way. 2:1 is, I know Netflix pushed it for a very long time. So like House of Cards was 2:1. A lot of shows on Netflix was 2:1. I don't think Stranger Things was. Might have been. Univision. Thank you. Univisium. There you go. That's the word. That's the one. Univisium. But yeah, I think the argument for 2:1 is it's not as wide as 2.39. It's not as squarish as 1.85. So it makes for good home viewing. So it fits nicely on a 16:9 TV screen. Sure. I get it. To me, it's just pick one and go for it. Actually, it started in the 90s, but it was a film. It was actually a film format. It wasn't for streaming, but streaming's picked it up because they kind of liked it as a good in between 2.39 and 16:9. Jagger Films. The workaround for a dislike is somebody commenting this video has this many dislikes, and then people upvote. Oh, there you go. Yeah, use me as a dislike button, and then people do that with. That gets annoying. Like I follow this channel on Instagram called 5 Minute Crafts, which is just an awful channel. It's awful. It's these Russians. It's these Russian click farm basically, and what they do is they just make videos like nonstop, and they call them 5 minute crafts or DIY life hacks or whatever, 5 minute hacks. But most of them are idiotic and they're just stupid. Sometimes you get one that's like legitimately, oh, that's actually see that useful. But most of the comments are like, use me as a dislike button. Use me as a dislike button. And it just becomes super just over the top. What is your opinion on spherical lenses and anamorphic lenses? Great question, Tyler. I have not played around with anamorphic. The Suri lens came out that looked really cool. This, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. Suria, Suria. And this is what also bothered me. Like, I'm not a gear YouTuber, right? I'm like, there's other guys that are gear YouTubers, and literally all of them got this lens for free. All of them. I didn't get it because I'm not a gear YouTuber. I'm not known for doing reviews. I'm known for doing histories and concept stuff. So I didn't get the thing. So I was like watching all these other guys make it, and then that part of me is like, I want to keep up with the Joneses. I want to buy one. So I was like ready to buy it. $1,600 for this lens. And I thought to myself, why? Why am I doing this? Why do I need to buy this lens for? I could just rent this thing when it comes out. I got a buddy in LA that would probably rent it to me for not much, or maybe even for free. I don't know. Hopefully, we'll talk. But I'll rent it, pay for a rental for a weekend, and go out and play with it. There's nothing in my line of work that requires anamorphic at all. There's not a single thing. And if I wanted to shoot a film with anamorphic, I just rent the lens. So I would just do that. Do I like anamorphic? I'm fascinated by anamorphic. When I did that video about anamorphic lenses, about why is the bokeh oval, I discovered some interesting things about it. And the one thing I really like about the anamorphic lens is how the depth of field actually wraps around your subject. Because the reason why anamorphic bokeh is oval is because the depth of field horizontally is wider than the depth of field vertically. So things literally fall out of focus faster vertically than they do horizontally. So for faces that are upright, it's got this interesting way of wrapping focus around the face. And I wanted to kind of explore that and play with it some more. And you get back to shooting movies. This COVID thing has just really fucked things up. Sorry to curse there, but I want to shoot something. And I got a trip out to Idlewild here in December. We might shoot something for fun out there real quick. But I got a great camera. I'm using this camera right now, the C70. I got a C200. I've got some decent lenses. I can rent a couple lenses for that trip. I got all the gear. I just need to shoot something. But it's right now because we're just coming out of the pandemic. We're just starting to find our way out. Although it's still kind of touch and go. But, we'll get there. So, hopefully we'll be shooting sooner or later. Are those lenses the blue tint ones? I don't know if the Suri does anything particular. My anamorphic video broke your brain, now I can't ride a bike. I heard that. That can happen. That can happen with anybody. Rigel 7, hi John. How you doing? Rigel 7 was already used. I wonder if there was ever been a porno shot on an anamorphic lens. You bet it there has. Was that Rule 34? If there's something, whatever there is, there's porn of it. So, I like this argument. The one eyesight means univisium. I get you saying. Yeah, univision. Got sound issues on this side. Take care. Oh, shoot. Well, no one's complained yet, so hopefully it's not too bad. Again, I am solo here, so I can't run back there. And I explained earlier that I don't have my regular microphone because it's in my van. The stand is in my van. I mean, otherwise I'd just be sitting on a table like hanging over. There we go. Kasana says, I'm still not convinced about COVID being in the medical situation and not political one, like the global application of the Patriot Act thing. I don't want to get too much into it because I feel like there's other avenues that people talk about this endlessly. And I'm not sure that my addition to it, but I hear you. We got to eventually come back to some sort of normalcy and accept that their life contains challenges and threats and dangers, and we can't inoculate from all bad things all the time. It just, we got to accept it. I don't know, like, not to get really dark, but like my father had me when he was like 56 or 60, almost 60, right? So my entire life, even as a young kid, I remember thinking about the day my dad would die, like as a 5-year-old kid, like crying myself to sleep thinking about it because I love my dad and I were really close. So I like been dealing with death, and when my dad died, it wasn't because he died when I was 19 years old. It wasn't that big of a shock, because I had already prepared for it. And now my mom's going through all these health problems, and when she passes, it's not going to be a big shock for me either. I'm not a believer in forcing people to live forever. That's not my thing, and I just have to accept. Maybe I have a little more of a Buddhist approach to it. Like all things, that's the way life is. Anyhow, that's getting pretty dark. That's getting pretty dark, and I don't know if I want to go to the dark corner right now. Let's not go in the dark corner. It's Thanksgiving tomorrow. We're gonna have turkey. I'm gonna give my mom turkey, and then she'll forget that she had turkey because that's how dementia works. It's fun. Okay, that was dark. Let's get back to this. Rigel said we had a screening for the rough cut of my film today, and the instructor actually didn't hate it. Congratulations! Wanted a complete scene cut though. What you can do in that situation is fight for it. Or not fight for it. Maybe he's right. Maybe your teacher is absolutely right. Think about it. Take it out and see how you like it. Put it back in. Think about it. Sometimes we can be blind to our own thing. Sometimes it takes fresh eyes to see something. So good for you though. Your teacher didn't hate it. That's a good job. Apple TV. Oh, All Mankind. That's another one I want to watch. Hans Schrader says, for All Mankind. I've got to watch that one too, because I love space stuff. Kasana says, we are the continuation of life since the start of life. It is the circle of life. All right, I just had to pay Disney $100 there. Sorry about that. We respond through kids, brand new. That's what also dads me down, man. Like my biology is saying, John, have kids already. I got my biological clock. Luckily, I'm a dude, so I can have kids until I'm dead, frankly. So we'll see what happens. I'm not sure where you're located, but you're interested in the academy. Yes, I am. I was a founding member of the Academy Museum. I never did take my chance to go there, though. The film programming looks fantastic. Some of it, I like some of it. Some of it looked really, really not my thing. A great opportunity to show the vast archive and restoration work the Academy does. I'd love to see it, though. I'd love to see the Academy. Like I said, the pandemic kind of ruined everything for me. Like it really hurt. Like just not being able to make movies, not going to movies, everything becoming pandemic. And then I was involved with like communications and all that. So that was my big thing. So I was eating, drinking this stuff all the time. So yeah, I like to get back to movies again. Like I got back to music in a way, to playing music, and I might try to do some music things for Christmas. But anyhow, yep. Patrick Gabray says the fresh eyes thing is why a relationship between the editor and his producer is paramount. Absolutely, and I think people can kind of, and also the relationship between the producer and the director sometimes too, because I think the people can kind of get a little bit too blindered about like there's so many stories about Hollywood suits coming in and ruining a movie, right? You always hear a story, Hollywood executives come and meddled the movie and they made it worse. And it happens. I'm guarantee you it happens a lot. But how many times do Hollywood executives come in and actually save a movie? How many times do Hollywood executives come in and save a director from himself or herself? Probably a lot. Sometimes, it takes, I'm trying to remember, if you've ever seen the movie Hail Caesar, is one of my favorite movies. Very underrated movie because you have to have your foot really deep into the history of the movie business to kind of get all the references and everything that Hail Caesar is about. But like sometimes directors get really full of themselves, and it takes a producer to come in there and slap them around a couple times, just psh, like James Brolin just slapping around George Clooney. That was great. I love that. I love that movie. What time is it? 5:50, 4:50. All right. Well, we've been here for about an hour. I'll take a few more chats and hang out for a little bit more. There we go. Oh, I started to play with MuseScore. Cool. A free music composition and notation software. I'm not the great musician, but I like to try some things on sheet music. When I used to write music, I would write it in Finale. Like, that was literally my... And that was the only way I could operate, honestly. Because I can't play the keyboard. I can't play piano. And not to... Well, at least not to any kind of, like... Be able to, like, type in music rhythmically. And the I tried to learn Cubase, but Cubase was so far ahead of me. And I couldn't understand... Like, I can't look at a piano roll and understand. And I can't keep in my mind chord progressions. So C major goes to F minor, goes to, this, E, D, what? And I need to see it. I need to see the chords. I need to see the little cluster of notes to get what's going on. And then I could work with it. That's why Finale I liked. I worked in Finale. I would write the music as a score in Finale. And then I'd use Finale to play it back. And I would incorporate like Contact and all these other programs to try. I have written music in like more than a decade because I find writing music for me so incredibly frustrating. Because I feel like I have melodies and things on the tip of my tongue, but I lack the ability to like express them. Like I could ba-da-bum, ba-da-dum, bum, bum. That's a little bit of Star Wars, a little bit of Harry Potter in there. I can hum it, and I can think of it in my head, bum, bum, ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum, bum, bum. But I can't play it and I can't write it down because I don't have that barrier is broken. And I'm not saying I come up with the greatest melodies. I'm saying I can't translate melody to note to play a note. I can't do it. And I'm a trumpet player. I play jazz. I improvise jazz. I've gotten pretty good at improvising. Although when I improvise jazz, I don't necessarily think I work inside of a chord structure. I don't think like brand new melodies. I think melodies, but inside of a chord structure, so I can read music really well. That's my mental block. I can't do it. Whereas I can draw decently. I can if I'm cartooning, I can draw cartoons. Cartoons are my limit. But I can have something in my head. I can kind of get there eventually. Anyhow, long way around to saying that. Anyhow. Oh gosh, yeah. Lady Eve, thank you reminding me. I really wanted to do that. I've been so kind of depressed on everything in this world that I haven't done anything as far as making Filmmaker IQ stuff. But I really would like to make a video on make this like movie suggestion thing. I would love to do like the movie nights that we could do like. Maybe we'll do like a 10 minutes of me kind of going the history of the movie. So we talked about Lady Eve the other day and how Lady Eve was a movie that I really, really loved. Thought it was really, really great. And maybe we could talk about these movies that people may not have heard of, but we need to go back and check it out. If you haven't seen it, the one that's popping up to me right now, I think it's called The Man That Wasn't There. What's the name of that movie? It wasn't The Man That Wasn't There. It's not... shoot. My brain is going. Who played Dr. Strangelove? I'm going to Google this. Let's see. There, Peter Sellers. It's Peter Sellers' movie. What's the name of the movie? You guys probably figure it out before I find it. The name of the movie is Being There. So, Lady Eve, if you haven't seen Being There, try Being There. That's a good one to go with next. If you want another more modern recommendation, I would check out one of my favorite movies, Wonder Boys. Wonder Boys from 90s or 2000s. It's got Iron Man and Spider-Man in it. But it's about a man who's a writer and he has writer's block. But it's a great one. I would check that out. So the Lady Eve, Being There, and Wonder Boys. Those are two good recommendations for you. Check those out. Will you produce other videos? I keep all of them. Yes, I will. I just gotta get back to it. Oh, this thing went backwards now. Oh, that's because I'm on this one. Try interval training app. I should probably do that. Sorry, not COVID. Yeah, I was, I was a business major in college, but I played in the band. So I mean, I was always hanging out with the music majors, and they would just, it's so like, bum, bum, do, ra, do, re, mi, fa, wah, bum, something like that. So but they would have like, ba-dum, ba-dum, that's a minor second, or yeah, ba-da-da-da-da, minor second. So they would all like have all these little tips and treat, bum bum bum, and BC, that's a sixth. So yeah, there's all these different tricks. The problem is I have a hard time finding the starting pitch too. So really, ear training is what I gotta do. Let's just be honest. I gotta do some ear training. That's what I gotta do. All right. In your opinion, there we go. Could an independent filmmaker post a movie on YouTube and succeed culturally and financially, or is it better to sell to other parties? Great question, Tyler. You are just full of great questions there. That is you kind of lead me to something that I wanted to talk about, but I didn't know how to talk about it. This one guy on my Squid Game video got like really personal with me and started saying, "Well, what kind of movies did you produce?" I'm like, "Well, you don't want to punch down somebody." I produced a lot of short films, but I didn't want to like link a bunch of short films because that was not the point of the discussion. The problem is you have to cultivate an audience. And that's kind of the reason why I really stopped pursuing a lot of filmmaking, because this became where I could get an audience. You guys hanging out with you on YouTube, creating material for this channel was a way to have an audience and to work with and create something for other people, for an audience. And when I was doing the film festival stuff, it felt very hollow. Now I get it. Look here, and when I was I did a video about what do you expect when you get your film into a short film festival, and I talked about like you have to bring an audience. Like you make a movie, no one cares. Literally no one cares that you made a movie. Nobody. You gotta get people to care. You gotta get the word out. You gotta hustle. You gotta get people to see it. So now I forgot the question. Is it better to make a movie on YouTube? If you make a movie on YouTube, it's not one of those. It's not if you build it, they will come, because they won't. You gotta like consistently build things, and you consistently bring people on board. That's why I became so disillusioned, kind of with a little bit with filmmaking, was because I don't feel like I really want to do the Hollywood thing, because it looks like it's a pain in the ass, honestly. And there's very little creative control anyway. But anyhow, so let's go back to that. Is it better to post your movie on YouTube, succeed culturally and financially? You're not going to. You're not going to post your movie on YouTube and succeed culturally and financially. And you're not going to be able to sell it to other parties, because other parties will basically take your movie and put it in a compilation DVD, and that'll be the end of that. And they will either keep most of the money or say, yeah, we didn't make enough money on it, and then you won't see a dime from it. It's just such a bear to make stuff. I'm not sure independent movies really are going to be the way to go. Maybe independent shows, maybe more like an independent web series, but web series are kind of dead now. Back in the day, everybody and their brother had a web series. Now it's podcasts. Everybody and their brother has a podcast. I don't know. It's so darn hard. That's all I can say. It's so hard to get the audience, Rick Beato's ear training course. Watch his videos and get a coupon code. I like Rick Beato. I wish I was anywhere near musically capable as he is. Anyhow. Oh, Wonder Boys, not Water Boys. It was late though, delayed. Went out and did press and then got delayed for a year. Ah, shoot. Anyhow. How many people on Twitch have 10 or less viewers? It's a bit of the chicken and the egg. It is. It's very tough. Like, I'm very thankful that even though my channel has 376,000 subscribers. The thing is though, I've been around for a very, very long time. Like, most of those subscribers are probably like dead accounts. I don't know what my subscriber count really is. Right now I got 31 concurrent viewers, which is not bad. It's a little low, but it's not bad. And I'm grateful to hang out with you guys. I really am. And I'm thankful for basically what this opportunity that Filmmaker IQ has, been able to do here on this channel. But it's nothing more hurtful to me to see a video that's really good or something that put a lot of effort into making a video and get 23 views or 100 views. It's just, it sucks. It sucks. Rick H has got a great comment here. It's tough to market, not hard to make. That is the God honest truth right there. You can make movies. It's so easy now to make a movie. So easy. It's not easy, but it's a lot easier than it was. But it's so hard to actually get people's attention because, back in the day, you made a movie like, oh wow, you made a movie, and now it's like, oh, you made a movie. Ah, so did my kid Billy over there. No one cares. If I stream, it's more than 10 people. That's a miracle. Yep, that's tough. It's tough. Patrick Adbury says, I did a private long-form movie just for sharpening my skills and recover from illness by pushing me a load of work. Yeah. No, I think, the problem with the movie business too is, like, this is what kept me from making a feature. Because I feel like in order to make a feature the way I wanted to make it, it was going to cost some money. Like, legitimately money. Now, I might be ultra low budget, but $100,000 is an ultra low budget. It's a lot of money to me, but it's considered ultra low. It's considered no one's getting paid $100,000, right, to make a feature film. And how do you justify that? How do you make back $100,000? Like, okay, if it's a $5,000 film, I could swing that. That's like my pet project, $5,000. I'll sink $5,000 in. I mean, yeah, it's gonna take me a while to recoup that, but or not to even make that, right? But it's not out of the realm of possibility, right? $5,000. It's a lot of money, but it's not like it won't break you. $100,000 for an ultra low budget, that's out of the question. So I found myself being less interested in making a feature film because I can't swing that. Unless I can somehow figure out a way to financially make it work where I get at least recoup that money. And even Kickstarter, like, I don't think, if I start a Kickstarter, I don't think I could raise that kind of money. I just don't think I could do it. So that's why that's why I've been kind of away from the feature game. I want to create stuff but be able to make it, Speaking of which, I oftentimes, people that hate me, and there's a lot of people that hate me. I don't know why. There's a lot of people that hate me. But they will often look at one of the movies I made, one of the short films I made called Out of Sync, which I did for a sponsorship video. And I think to myself, I paid people on that movie, and we all had a great time, and everyone got paid a little bit of money, at least gas money. And you guys are all bitching that, oh, it's such a horrible movie. It's supposed to be kind of silly. It was supposed to be dumb and stupid. But I made money on that movie. I came out ahead on that. I paid for my rent with that movie. So yeah. I got a master class in Werner Herzog make a features for $10,000 or less if you're going indie. I think that's probably the only way you can do it. But even $10,000 is, it starts to stretch, So you either make a feature film for nothing, or you have to make it for $100,000. There's like no in between. Like, you can't just make $10,000. I guess I'll pay for like some locations and some food, but that's basically it. You can't really pay anybody. Maybe you can pay the makeup artist for supplies and stuff like that, but no actors getting paid. You're editing the whole thing yourself. Maybe you might be able to pull it off. I could probably do it for cheaper. I hate when people say that. Tell me about when putting your heart into something that you only get a few dozen people to be disheartening. When you can't get your friends care, why would anybody else? It's tough. And the compound it too, when I'm the kind of personality that's not going to be like shoving it in my friend's face all the time. I should probably do that though. Come see my movie. Come see my movie. Everybody, come see my movie. That kind of thing. Yeah. Oh, you just watched that Less Than Certain Exposures? Yeah, that's a good. I think if you can approach film festivals from a social and networking perspective, I think there's a lot of gain to be had. Because I gotta admit, I missed that. The most fun at film festivals when we weren't trying to think that you're some big shot. So you're just kind of hanging out with other people that made movies and talking about movies, like what we're doing right now. You know, that's the kind of thing that that the film festivals are good for. Don't go there expecting to be discovered because they're probably not going to be happening. But keep going, keep doing it because maybe you will be. Who knows? Or at least you'll die doing what you love. Are you familiar with George Rockwell Smith? He did a Kickstarter for his short film. I would donate to you. The Kickstarter reward was some streams where he went over the process. I'm not familiar with that Kickstarter. I just have a feeling because I've tried to do things in the past with Filmmaker IQ. I've done like contests, and the response has always been tepid, like really tepid. And I feel, or I've done stuff on Filmmaker IQ. I used to do things. I was trying to convince people to make films, and I was trying to do lessons and stuff like that. And I got zero response, and I just felt disillusioned that I couldn't get people to do anything. Like, well, maybe I'm in the wrong audience, you know. Like I was trying to get people to make films and submit them, but I got like 3 out of thousands of people that saw it. 3. It was sad. I just felt bad. I don't know. I don't want to get disillusioned. You guys are here. You guys are here with me live. We're caring. Craft services, yay! Craft services is the only thing you cannot skimp on. Even if you're making a movie for no budget, your budget is your craft services. As far as I'm concerned, if no one gets paid, everyone gets fed. Period. Period. Everyone gets fed. That's all that's my rule. It's been ingrained in me since I was intern, even at the cable company. It was always the client always buys lunch, or it was the account executive always bought lunch. Everyone gets fed. Editing is a pain if you're not an editor. Yeah, it is. Although I enjoy editing. I enjoy the ending of editing. I think I found out about your channel like a month or 2 ago. I think your course videos are excellent. I was trying to confirm something that I knew. I was actually trying to confirm something. I can't read. Thank you very much. Thanks for hopping by. I am changing the channel a little bit from where it was like 5 years ago because you gotta grow. You gotta do something different. You can't just do the same thing over and over again. Do I want to do a fan submission contest? I've always thought about it, but I just feel like I gotta wait a little bit longer till people a little more COVID restrictions are a little bit less, so I could ask people to go out there and do stuff, you know. But I'd like to do something again, a fan submitted contest or something like that. I was going to do like 3D print some award trophies. No French hours on a $10,000 feature. Sure, I'm not sure what that is. French hours. But I mean, you can, any movie can be made for any budget, really, these days. Just no matter who doesn't get paid or not. Although I had a really interview with one of the guys that made a great independent film called Virgin Alexander, and I interviewed them, and they came down to I saw their movie in Las Vegas. They brought it out to L.A. and all that stuff, and I was interviewing them, and I asked them like, how much did it cost? And they said, you don't tell everybody at the ball how much your dress costs. That was a great answer. You don't tell everybody at the ball how much your dress costs. And then I would also strongly advise people that do not market yourself by how little money you spend on your film. I hate that. I hate that so much, and I've seen it as a curator of Filmmaker IQ. I've seen it done over and over again, and believe me, it's not news. Oh, I made a movie that only spent $400 on it. I don't care. Either A, it looks like you only spent $400 and it looks like crap, or B, you only spent $400 because no one got paid. Like if you were to go do this in the Hollywood level, it costs you at least $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 easy, because you might do a favor for your buddy over there who's a sound editor. You might do a freebie for him, but when Warner Brothers comes knocking, you ain't gonna lower your rate card. No, sir. No, sir. I think that's another thing with Martin Scorsese. We talk about, because this is the point I always bring about Martin Scorsese. Martin Scorsese, he spent, his movies cost more than certain Marvel movies costs. And you could argue that his movies are better than Marvel movies. And fine, I get that argument. But why can't Martin Scorsese make a $2 million movie or $10 million movie? Why does he have to make a $150 million movie? Well, partly because no one would work for Martin Scorsese for less than a regular pay rate. I guess people would. But he's gotten so used to spending $150 million a movie or $90 million a movie. You know, like that movie, the movie about the Jesuit priests. It was like a $90 million movie. Like that, seriously? Did you really need to spend $90 million on that? I mean, the subject matter is such a niche anyways. It could have been done with a no-name director for a third of that. So anyhow. All right, Boa, see you later. Hopefully I didn't catch you before you took off. As long as you stay honest. I will try to be honest as much as I can. As long as I am honest, I have me as a fan. Keep trying to make paragraphs and that. Well, I will try to be honest. Frugal filmmaking. That's some frugals. The frugals are here. School I brought an ectochrome slider system today. The other crew was using it. Found the red was bending it. Used a table and casters and a dolly instead. Ha. Yeah, ectochrome, they do have weight limits, so you gotta be careful with how much you put on those things. Yeah, there's, the nice thing. I think a lot of younger filmmakers get too obsessed with decking out their cameras and making all this crap on their camera and kitting it all out, when really most of the time you don't need to kit it all out. And there is a freedom about a lighter camera, like a light, small camera. Is a tremendous amount of creative freedom that comes from that. Anyhow. Ooh, 3D printing a camera boom arm. That's interesting. Be careful with that, because 3D printing is not... make sure you're structurally sound. That's all I gotta say. You might already know how to do that. Kasana says, not COVID. I think the cost of movies are magnified like they came up with them, like they came up from a movie script. I think Martin Scorsese in particular just attracts a higher dollar value, I think. And then he's got accustomed to getting that dollar value. I mean, why not? If you could make a movie for $90 million, why would you want to cut corner, try to make it for less if you can get $90 million? My voice is starting to go. I haven't done this in a while. French hours is a short for a 10-hour day with no pause for lunch. Oh, okay. I did not know that. However, I just learned that food is often passed out throughout the entire day, allegedly. That's what Crafty was essentially, the whole idea with Crafty is that you just literally go to the craft services, grab something you eat and go. Like meals, craft services is not meal. So it'd be craft, I guess. The Werner Herzog thing about financing was very interesting. I have to check it out. I like how Scorsese uses special effects CGI. If he asks for it, we know he will make ours with rescaling in post. Oh, I like cleverness over golly gee wow. We just faked ours. Yeah, very good point. I do too. Oh, I'm reading both. I'm reading two lines. Sorry. If he asks for it, we know he will make good use. Don't look at The Irishman, but Hugo and Shutter Island. Yeah, don't look at The Irishman. I was impressed. I like cleverness over golly gee wow. We faked ours with rescaling in post. Yeah, I like clever camera effects and stuff like that. What is the main camera I shoot with? Believe it or not, the camera I actually ended up shooting most with is a Canon XC15. Because it is small, it is compact, it is easy to set up, and it doesn't have a super amount of depth of field. Shoots 4K, and it's super easy to get in and out. I shoot a lot of documentary, kind of documenting certain events. I shoot ribbon cuttings or some sort of event or something that's going on. But when I do shoot something that's a little more staged, like actual, not just B-roll, not just newsy stuff, or they call it ENG, electronic news gathering. And I'll shoot with either the C200 or the C70. I'm really liking the C70, although I just haven't had much of an opportunity to put it to use yet. I'm shooting with it right now. You're looking at a C70 image. Anyhow, so those are my cameras that I've been using. And I'm using a lot of PTZ zoom cameras. I've been doing a lot of events. I've been doing, since another guy I know had hip surgery, so I have been picking up the slack for all his Student of the Month programs. I've been shooting 4 Student of the Month programs every month. It's a lot of work. But I try to do them I try to cut them live. So I've been doing a lot of PTZ cameras. Not the greatest of optics, but they work because it's when it comes to meetings like that, sound is more important than visuals. Well, as long as the director's movies make money, they will keep making them. When they bomb, the funds will dry up. That's kind of the problem, though, with Scorsese, I think, a little bit. You know, Scorsese complains a lot about not getting funding, not getting financing. I know Spielberg famously complained about not being able to finance Lincoln. And the reason why, I mean, he said, well, I can't believe no one would make, and it won all these Oscars. But yeah, but the thing is, though, the way he was trying to pitch it was, this is a movie about Lincoln, but it's really about passing the 13th Amendment or 14th Amendment. Like, yeah, Spielberg, that's why you couldn't get your movie financed, because people didn't get it. If you watch the movie, actually, the bulk of the movie feels like it is about the fight for the amendment passing process. But there's like shoehorned in this great performance of Lincoln. So I think that's how he got funding for it. Anyhow. All right, it is 5:17, guys. I'll hang out for a few more minutes, and I got to get going. And what am I doing? I'm just... I think I gotta go buy a new cutting board, because the cutting board I had is basically disintegrated over the last few months. And like literally, you know how cutting boards are made out of pieces of wood? Well, the pieces of wood started breaking off, so now I just got like a half of a cutting board left. It still works, but like I should just go ahead and get a new cutting board. Dang it. There you go. Why would you cover the amendment when you could just focus on vampire hunting? See, and I bet you that vampire hunting movie made cost a lot less money. Alrighty, guys. It's been a pleasure. It's been fun for me. Hopefully it was good for you guys. I will take off. Happy Thanksgiving. We're going to have a nice little holiday here, and then we'll try to get back on the saddle here again and start coming up. I do have that Fox video. It's been looming. I was reading the script and writing it like it was written in 2020. And here it's going to be 2022 when I finally freaking do it. So we will work on that. And happy Thanksgiving. We'll see you guys. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay strong, and much love. Be kind to each other. We'll talk to you later, guys. Take care. Bye. Bye now.